So, you've probably heard the names thrown around everywhere. ChatGPT, Google Gemini, they're the two heavyweights in the AI chatbot ring right now. Everyone wants to know which one is actually better. On one side you have ChatGPT from OpenAI. This is the one that really kicked off the mainstream AI craze. It feels like the established champion. It's known for being a conversational wizard. Write, explain, brainstorm. It's trained on a massive amount of text. A jack of all trades for language. Then you have the challenger, Google Gemini. Google's big play, their answer to OpenAI. When a company like Google enters the ring, you pay attention. Gemini was built from the ground up to be multimodal. Text, images, audio, code, a super smart assistant that can see and hear. Direct pipeline to Google's ecosystem and real-time search. So, the setup is pretty clear. Creative wordsmith ChatGPT. Essay drafted, a poem written, complex topic broken down. On the other side, data-driven powerhouse, Gemini, backed by Google Search, the fact-checker. Pulls in current information from the web, battle lines, creative veteran versus hyper-connected multimodal newcomer. This is gonna be fun. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do they actually perform? When it comes to creative writing and generating text, ChatGPT, especially GPT-4, often has the edge. Ask both for a short cinematic scene ChatGPT tends to produce, better pacing, more evocative language, a more natural flow. It understands tone and style in a nuanced way. Example, ask it to write an email to your boss in a professional but friendly tone. It usually returns a draft that hits the mark, needing very few edits. Switch to real-world factual queries, and the story changes. Gemini's Google search connection is its superpower. I asked both. Top-rated smartphones released in the last 3 months, their key camera specs. Gemini returned a fresh, accurate August 2025 list with specs and links to recent reviews. ChatGPT, using older training data, gave a generic answer about what makes a good camera phone and couldn't list the latest models. Problem solving, especially with code, both handle it well. Paste a chunk of code and ask them to find a bug, they often spot it. But Gemini has a slight advantage, likely from its multimodal foundation and huge code training data. It grasps logical structure better and suggests more efficient solutions. Example, I gave both a moderate Python script and asked for optimizations. Gemini's fixes were practical and tackled bottlenecks. ChatGPT's focused more on readability. So you see the pattern. ChatGPT = creative partner. Use it for drafting, brainstorming, refining ideas. Think of it as an articulate intern. Gemini = research assistant. Ask it for facts, summaries of current events, data-driven tasks. Less about artful language, more about information accuracy. Each has a lane it excels in. The better one depends on your immediate goal. Classic trade-off, creative depth versus real-time breadth. Now, let's talk about the interface and just the general feeling of using these tools. A great product isn't just about what it can do, but how it feels to use it. ChatGPT's interface is clean. ChatGPT's interface is simple. ChatGPT has been the gold standard for a reason. It's basically a chat window. You type, it responds. There's very little clutter, which makes the conversation the main focus. The minimalist design helps you get into a flow state for long writing sessions. Google Gemini feels more like a product. It's clean but integrated into the Google ecosystem. You'll see material you design and richer information presentation. When you ask a question, Gemini might pull in images. Gemini might show tables. Gemini might format responses with drop-down menus. That richness helps research but can feel busier than ChatGPT. It feels less like a pure conversation and more like an interactive search results page. Gemini's big UI win is multimodal input. Snap a photo of a math problem and have it solved. Upload a diagram and ask it to explain. ChatGPT is still catching up on that. I took a picture of my fridge ingredients and asked Gemini for a recipe. It recognized the items and suggested a recipe. Doing the same in ChatGPT means describing everything in text. That feels less intuitive. Gemini feels like a futuristic do-it-all assistant. But ChatGPT still feels smoother in conversational back and forth. It's better at remembering context over long conversations. You can refer back to something from 20 prompts ago, and it usually understands. Gemini is improving but can lose the thread in deeper discussions, so ease of use is basically a tie for different reasons. ChatGPT is simpler and better for focused, text-based tasks. Gemini is more versatile and powerful if you want multimodal input, even if it's a bit more complex. So, after all that, which one should you be using? The truth is, the best AI is the one that best fits your workflow. But if I had to choose just one for the average person in 2025, I'm leaning towards Google Gemini, and it really comes down to one key thing: Access to real-time information. For the vast majority of daily tasks, planning a trip, researching a product, getting a summary of the day's news, checking facts, having an AI connected to the live internet is simply more useful. The frustration of getting an outdated or "I can't help with that" answer is real, and Gemini avoids that problem most of the time. That doesn't mean ChatGPT is irrelevant, not at all. For a huge group of people, especially writers, marketers, developers, students, ChatGPT is still the king of creation. It generates high-quality, nuanced text. When I'm scripting a video or drafting a complex email, I still turn to ChatGPT for that first draft. Its prose flows better. It's the better wordsmith. If your job is centered on creating content, ChatGPT is probably still your primary tool. It's the specialist, and it's incredible at what it does. But the world is moving toward multimodal AI assistants, and Gemini was built for that world from the start. The ability to use your camera to search, analyze images, get answers grounded in the here and now is a massive advantage. Google's deep integration of Gemini into Android, Chrome, other Google services means it's becoming the default ambient assistant for millions. It's becoming the connective tissue for all the information in your life, not just a destination for a chat. That utility is hard to beat for day-to-day use. So here's the bottom line for August 2025. For most people and the widest range of everyday questions and tasks, Google Gemini is the more practical and powerful choice. Its live web connection and multimodal capabilities give it a clear edge. ChatGPT remains superior for pure creative and writing tasks, a master of its craft. But as these AIs evolve, the one that can see, hear, understand our world in real time will ultimately become the most indispensable. And right now, that's Gemini.